So here we go. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're having a great day. And if it's not a great day, let's hope it's not a completely shitty day. Maybe it's just mediocre. Mediocre is not so bad sometimes. Superstar Saga. I have no interest in Superstar Saga just yet. I've gotten too many back and forth kind of emails about it. And I haven't made up my mind. I haven't done my full research yet. And I've got too much other stuff on my plate for Superstar Saga. Let's hold off a little bit, because we got a Mario game coming out kind of soon. And I just finished a Mario game. But if I don't do Superstar Saga Remake now, at some point in the near future, I would like to stream a version of the game. Which could mean the original or the remake. So I would like to check it out. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I've gotten lots of emails one way or another, and we'll talk about them. But yeah, let's just dive into Metroid first, and we'll get established. All right. Let me know if the volume's okay. I took a day off yesterday, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But why don't we see what the fuck I have to do first? Volume's good? Okay, it's a little loud on my end then. So I do have the amiibos, but I haven't used them because I didn't want to cheese the game too hard. But you'll notice, we're down to one Metroid left. We're right at the end of the fucking game. I did some backtracking last time I played this, but I think it would be a good idea for me to just make some progress and finish the game. If I do 100% it might be off stream. So, the most exciting of all the news, I swear this is gonna be the most exciting, is someone recently informed me, well, there was a comment on my Cuphead video that I've been made aware of, and a number of people have informed me that I have defeated in the past week Jesus, God, and the devil. Like, all in a row, kind of. So, God in Rock of Ages, Jesus in Miitopia, sorry, and the devil in Cuphead. What the fuck? How did that happen? How the fuck? You know what that means, right? It means... I am God, come on, you know, come on, it's time to boot the Mario! Don't go Dennis Reynolds. Listen, just because I defeated the fake God, doesn't mean I'm gonna start trying to take over. You know, because of the implication. No, I thought that was fantastic. Years from now, I'm going to reference that as probably one of the finest moments of my streaming career. So, very, very pleased with that one. Yeah. I saw Blade Runner, and I did a review on Blade Runner, which about 190 of you saw. I did it live. And it'll be on my Full Sauce channel tomorrow. And we'll talk a little bit about it. We'll talk a little bit about Comic-Con that I did not go to. And yeah, I'll tell you what's been going on. Game volume is too loud. Okay. Okay, it's down 5%. You know what? Now it's a little bit too low. Let me pull it down from the mixer. This is like a middle ground. So, yeah, I mean, I'm right at the end of the game as far as I'm aware. I've been hesitant to defeat the final boss and actually finish the game because I didn't really want it to end. It's the first new 2D Metroid game we've had in a long time. That plus there's been so much other great stuff that I haven't really had the time to play this. And I think it's time though. My like thoughts about this game are it's not the best Metroid game, but I do think it's a worthy game to bear the Metroid title. And I had a lot of fun with it. And I don't think, well, it's not over yet. I mean, we've got a little bit more. I'm just doing some item hunting. Okay, never mind. There's nothing here. Okay. What's that? Splatfest was announced. Vampire versus werewolf. Well, as long as they're not swearwolves, I'm happy with that. So basically, what we do in the shadows. That movie. There's a puzzle here. How much shit do I have to move? I have to, do that, and then I have to, oh well, let's see. I think maybe I have to approach it from this side, let's see. Alright guys, we're werewolves, not swearwolves. So I guess in short, if you don't want to watch my Blade Runner review, and that's fine, it's like an hour. But if you don't want to watch it, and you want to know what I think of the movie, I was very happy with it. You know how Force Awakens tried to like kind of spoon feed you the nostalgia, and like hit all the right marks? Just so it would feel like Star Wars, but yet, when you thought about it later on, it was like, wait a minute, that's a little bit obvious. It didn't do that. It's its own movie, it's its own story, it's its own take on the world. The character of Kay is very interesting, and he has his own story arc, independent of Deckard. In a very, very good way, by the way. Denis took the images that Ridley created, but also made his own. And I really, really liked it. Blade Runner 2049 was the sequel that I didn't need, but I'm happy I got. And I will not spoil any of the movie, because it's not... This is a movie you don't want to go in with any knowledge of. Go in totally blind. You know, you can watch the short stuff that was released up until the release of the movie, but I wouldn't go in with any other information. Just watch the first one, and then watch this one. It's not a perfect movie. I had a couple issues with some of the pacing and some of the story stuff. A little bit was confusing, some of it was a little convenient here and there, but I gotta be honest, that's total nitpicks. Soon enough people are gonna say, oh, it's overrated. But I think, regardless if that's the case, I do think people are gonna like this movie. And I think people are gonna be happy with it if they're Blade Runner fans, or even if you're just a sci-fi fan. There's a lot to like. So, I wouldn't necessarily want to give it like a number score, but it would be pretty high. You don't need to see the first one to understand the second one, but it helps. It adds to it. Again, it's its own movie. It doesn't end on some shitty cliffhanger, you know, like, to set up a franchise. It's its own complete story. Denis Villeneuve is a master, and he has earned my movie tickets for life. I'll watch anything that guy does. The acting was great. Harrison Ford looked like he gave a shit. Ryan Gosling gets some shit because he was a Mouseketeer. And he's, you know, he dances. But he does that silent brooding really well. The action was great and really fucking brutal. But, done appropriately. It can be a little slow. The movie can be a little slow, but it's worth watching, and those are my initial thoughts. I only saw it yesterday. I'm gonna need time to decompress and really process it. It's a movie that requires some thought and a little bit of time, I think. And it's a movie that I'm probably gonna want to see a couple times, because I still don't know how I feel about it fully, but I do know it had an effect on me, and it definitely made me think, and it also made me a little emotional at times, and also there's some scenes that I feel I'll remember forever. Even if I never see it again, there's some visuals and imagery that sticks out. The music was really good. No, it wasn't Vangelis, but it wasn't a clone of Vangelis either. It was its own thing, and I liked it. I thought it was great. It's maybe not as good as Blade Runner overall for me, but I might just be biased. But I still really loved it, and I am happy that they gave it to the right people to make. Meaning, I'm kind of happy Ridley didn't direct it. Yeah, there's some pacing issues that I feel like it's 2.5 hours, but it goes quick. There are a couple times where it doesn't feel like it goes quick. There are some moments where I was like, okay, you don't have to show this much slow walking, but the tension that it builds and the time that it gives you to digest the visuals is much needed, and is a welcome change from so much of the crazy fast pacing that movies have these days, where everything has to hit, otherwise you risk the audience getting bored. This leaves you alone with your thoughts for a little bit. This allows you to contemplate what's happening. I think there's going to be fans of the original, like purists, that have some issues, but I also feel like there's going to be a whole new set of fans that like this movie better than the first one, or never see the first one and just enjoy this one. So, again, maybe we didn't need this. This is a movie we didn't need. No one was asking for a sequel. But it was done well, and it's a new story with new characters that I liked. Okay, this went way longer than I thought I would make it. If you want to hear me rant for even longer than this about the new movie, about 2049, then check Full Sauce tomorrow. But I guess the praise, and again, I don't really know what I'm talking about fully, but I know it's a beautiful movie to look at with great visuals and a fantastic sci-fi world. So I would recommend it to almost anyone, but I do think it's probably not going to make too much money at the box office, because it's contrary to a lot of those summer blockbusters. But I guess considering I hold the first movie in such high regard, me saying that I loved this new one is potentially high praise. So, take that for what it's worth. I can't help that those things look like sperm so much that I think of sperm every time. Every fucking time. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so let's move on to the next topic. I'm extremely thirsty today for some reason. That's the next topic. No, the next topic is, Comic-Con. So Comic-Con is happening. This is the first year in 5 years that I have not gone to New York Comic-Con. And I drove by the Javits Center today, where it's held, because I went to visit Imakuni and a couple of folks that I've known for some time on the stream, just for a dinner, because you know it's nice to just stop in. We went to Barcade and then we grabbed some sushi stuff, and it was good. It was really good. But I was worried about traffic, but it wasn't too bad, actually, because everyone was leaving New York City. They weren't going in. So I'm lucky that I got a chance to actually get to the city without much of a problem. And, you know, I thought about it. I was like, man, am I missing a whole lot by not going to Comic-Con this year? Well, for one, I am missing sickness. Almost without fail, I end up getting sick. So, I guess that's the main thing. I missed, Monster Hunter World, what's that, Cuphead Funko Pops. I missed Butt Butter. But I also missed some other stuff too, like I remember, you know, I like to meet people. I don't like the semicircle that forms, because I don't have a booth there, so we just meet outside. And it ends up being me in the center of a large circle of people, and that can get a little bit not so great for me. That I don't miss. I mean, what's this lemonade, by the way, on this level? This yellow liquid. No, I don't really particularly care for Funko Pop or any of that stuff. In fact, I kind of think it's kind of generic and terrible sometimes, and I'm not really crazy about it. But the Cuphead one was a separate line, apparently, as we had discussed, and it actually looked kind of cool, if you can believe that. Yeah, at least the Cuphead one looks like Cuphead. I have one more super. Let's make it count. Shit. Power bomb, rather. But, why not use time power? Oh, I don't know. I forgot about that. It's been a while since I played this. That's okay, I managed. Yeah, the Funko Cuphead one was the only one I ever had interest in. So, I guess, rip that dream. I do feel there was a bit of melancholy not going to Comic-Con though. I'm happy to take the year off, and I'll appreciate it more next year. But you know, it's a tradition. It's almost like a tradition. So that's the only part about it that feels kind of weird. But it also feels really nice to be home and get some work done in the studio and not have to, you know, drudge across New York City in fucked up traffic to get there. So anyone who's at Comic-Con this year, I want you to know, I hope you have a great time. I hope you enjoy it more than I do. I hope you don't get sick. I hope the big crowds of people aren't so fucking massive that you feel like you're being swathed in, like a goat pen. I hope it's not so hedonistic that it's like actually buttering people up and fucking the crevices between a combined set of elbows. And as long as it's not, then great, and I hope you enjoy it. Matt and Wooly are there. Someone says I only go to the parties after. Well, they don't give me a booth because, and I don't ask for one, so it's not like I would go with any real purpose other than to just hang out. But yeah, next year I'll go and maybe I'll find a way to get there in an easier, like a more pleasurable game experience. Vinny, I went there yesterday and it seems less people are there this year. That's good. Vinny, is it true that people at cons don't shower? I think they do. I think they just get worked up from walking around, and thus begins the stank. But I mean, that's a broad generalization. I think if you look on it, the devil is in the details, as they say, and if you zoom in a little bit, you see that some people don't, and most people do. But if you're wearing like a big heavy costume, and it's like hot, and you're bumping into people, and it's like kind of crowded, and maybe your commute there is long, and today was like 80 degrees, then yeah, there's gonna be some butt butter. Last year it was palpable in a couple of locations. The bow meter was off the fucking charts. Use deodorant. Well, that's why I bring deodorant. Like, we have Vinesauce brand deodorant that I brought to too many games. It's to send a message, man. It's never too late. It's never too late. So, yeah, I kind of miss it, and again, for anyone who's going that wanted to say hello, and, you know, grab a Vinesauce kazoo or something, I want you to know that it's just not my thing this year. I don't think I can handle it this year. Perhaps next year. I am going to Game A-Con in Atlantic City, though, so if you're on the East Coast around the 27th of October, I'll be at Game A-Con. Which, I don't even know what that is. But it sounded like a good time. So, So I'll be there. Not Game Acon like the rapper. Not Gamacon Mono. Okay, Game Acon. I apologize in advance. I apologize in advance if I'm shit-faced and I don't recognize you as a human being and I start saying weird things and treating you like a hot dog. But I was told that's what I have to do when I'm in Atlantic City. Now, I'm probably not gonna get shit-faced, especially if I'm on the clock, so to speak. If I'm sitting at a table meeting people, that's the last thing I'll be doing. Also, I have these large fucking cumbersome prints still of some art from a couple years ago, and they are not fun to carry around a convention. But I think I'm gonna be getting rid of them like real cheap this year. I haven't brought these to a convention in like 2 years. But I'm probably gonna bring them and sell them for extremely cheap. I mean, I never even made my money back with these things. But I kinda just don't want them in my fucking house anymore, so if you're okay with being encumbered at a convention with a large piece of plywood, then yeah, I got that for you. What is the print of? Me as an astronaut and me in a cave, a Vinesauce cave. I don't know. I don't know! No, really, that's what it is, but I don't know why it's like that. I forget the name of the artist, but they were extremely talented, and, it's pretty cool, I guess. It's just, they're too big. Are you still excited to go even though Mario Odyssey is coming out while you're there? Well, my plan is to try to get Mario Odyssey on Thursday night. Stream it Thursday night, and then stream it early Friday as well, and get in some good stream time with it before I go. Okay, now, I'm gonna be honest, this is where the game is starting to drag. I have all the upgrades. This area is large. And some of the other areas are a little bit more interesting than this one. This feels like a little bit of fluff. To me. Have you ever done a remote stream away from home? That would be really difficult. For one, I'd need a steady internet connection. I thought about it. I need a really steady internet connection, so a hotel Wi-Fi probably wouldn't work for the quality that I stream at. Maybe it would, I don't know. Depends on the hotel. I would need a decent sound setup, so I stream through a set of headphones with a very specific sound setup so I can hear myself through the headphones. And it's got a condenser mic. It goes through a mixer, so I need to bring a mixer. Then I would need to bring a controller, which isn't a problem, and I'd either stream like Steam games or like emulated games, or I'd have to bring a capture card and systems. What the fuck? Oh, hello. Regular Metroid? Hello. I know how to beat you. 10. There are now 10 regular Metroids. The Metroid meter was japes. I know the tricks. I know the tricks. Fucking agile. As long as there's only one on the screen at the same time, I'm okay. They wouldn't dare throw more than one at me at a time, right? No. So yeah, mobile streaming is a nice thought, but I thought of getting a little setup, like a task cam setup, to do like a podcast from the road, and just upload that. Like, just not really even a podcast, like, well, I mean, yeah, a podcast, but just maybe a live chat, talk about the trip, talk about some video game stuff. Like, so if I would, say if I were to be away for a while, I would consider getting a setup so that I can do something like that. And it wouldn't even have to be a complicated one. My cousin does a podcast, and he's got something similar to a Tascam, and he just hooks a decent microphone up to it, and that's it. You got yourself a podcast. And again, I probably wouldn't even call it a podcast. It would just be a YouTube video, but with no video game gameplay. It would just be like, well, I'm on the road, I can't stream. Let's talk about what's in the video game world. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about some movies and music stuff, but mostly games. And goodbye. Which cousin? One that I've never really spoken about before on stream. God damn it. I told you, I have a lot of cousins. There is no shortage of cousins in my life. How many fucking cousins do you have? Probably like 25 or so. I've not met some of my cousins. Alright, someone's pissed. I pissed off someone. Or something. Vinjabum, aka Jeff, just said in chat, maybe you're Vinny's cousin. That's right. Maybe there's some cousins watching right now. Like I had an email. I get emails from my cousin Spagublio. I never knew I had a cousin Spagublio, but now I do, I guess. So, what's up, Spagoob, if you're watching? Oh shit. Already? Well, not already, but okay. Here we go. Metroid Queen. Oh. Looks like a fucking Monster Hunter boss. Oh my. Oh, we're doing double burning. Aren't you supposed to suck? Oh, God damn it. So my experience with this Metroid Queen from the previous game, well, from this game on the Game Boy, is that she suck. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I said it like that. Come on. Can't afford to fucking waste supers. Okay, so this isn't suck phase just yet. But yeah, you have to actually go inside the Metroid Queen's stomach. Oh, oh, you bastard. Oh my god. You're joking. You're joking! Oh, come on! Oh, the missiles are being turned away! Oh, that's some bullshit. I think I have to, use the slow motion for that. Oh, yeah, or Spider Ball. Spider Ball will work. Always forget about Spider Ball. Never forget about Spider Ball, that's my advice. There's one refill. Oh, that's the tell right there. So yeah, there is. No, god damn it. Come on, go into fucking Morph Ball, Samus! Cuphead, no problem. This, I'm fucked. See, the problem is the instant button that gets you into Morph Ball is not a button, but it's you gotta tap the touchscreen. And I'm not. Oh, god damn it. And I'm not used to it. When does Spooptober start? Spooptober will begin when I'm done with my current games. But I've mentioned that a number of times. I'm just trying to finish up some of the other stuff, and then we can begin. So I would say I thought maybe it would happen this week. It's gonna happen next week. So basically, yeah, December. Exactly. You know how, like, a lot of stores prepare for holidays like a month and a half in advance to 2 months in advance? And you see, like, Christmas stuff in October or early November. I start my Halloween shit 2 months late. That's my gimmick. God, I hate these things. It's so hard not to take damage there. I can't read chat now. This is a little tough to read chat. So anyone who's asking questions or trying to tell me stuff, now's not the time, my lads, my good fellows. Like, I can see it in the peripheral of my vision. Come on. Give me the fucking counter. Wow, the power bomb. That was not a good idea. Power bomb just knocked me off the ceiling. Wow. The thunder armor does not even fucking block the thing. The thunder armor, I thought, would take a little bit of that damage. It just instantly broke. Okay, let's try again. I'm learning to use the touchscreen to morph ball. This late in the game. I'm using morph controls. Something's happening. Yes! Yeah! Yeah, there you go. Gotta get that parkour. Gotta get the counter. And I'm out of supers. I tried to navigate within the fucking green circles. we go. Let's go again. I figured it out. It's toxic in there. Samus actually takes damage. Okay, I'm pretty much fucked. I am done. Ah. The boss, Toti. This boss theme is Toddler on a cheap piano. This is it. I got it now. I got this. So there's at least 3 phases. I mean, the Nintendo rule of 3 might still be in effect, I'm not sure. Armor helps. When you're inside that thing. Yep. Ah. Okay. Alright, so far so good though. Okay, I didn't completely waste all my supers that time. So I have to look for an opening. Alright, phase 2 complete. I'm the godler. Come on. So now it's just a war of attrition. I have 2 supers. Alright, I fucked up one of them. Oh, that's a nice pattern. That's a nice fucking scum pattern that you got there, friend. Oh no. Here we go, here we go. I feel very lucky that I was able to do that without the armor. That was a really nice take on that fight. I've now killed the Queen Metroid 3 times. In 3 different iterations of this game. Don't kill. Look how cute it is. I got the little squishy amiibo. Very cute. Very squish. However, I can't help but think of Other M whenever I see the Vappy. See, look how cute that is. Yeah, so in the original... that was pretty much, yeah. There you go, now those blocks are able to be... thing. Hang on, I can't speak yet. Okay, good. So that's how you destroy those blocks. But yeah, in the original game, after you got the baby, it would just take you to the surface and you're done. It looks like that's not the case here. It looks like you and Bab have some bonding to do through combat. So that video I mentioned on the Game Maker's Toolkit analyzes the mood after you defeat the Metroid Queen and versus AM2R versus this. And the original game, basically there's no enemies. I don't even think there's music. And it kind of sets a mood that is currently not present. Also, considering I've seen those crystals like everywhere, I'm going to assume you can bring the Metroid with you to almost any part of the map. Close chat. Okay, alright, alright. However, I sadly think I know what's gonna happen because someone was trying to be helpful when emailing me and dropped a potentially massive spoiler. And then I was like, why would you do that? And he was like, no. I really genuinely don't think it was mean-spirited, but... I mean, who can tell? There wasn't a kappa next to it. These crystals are how Metroid get big. Well, I'm sorry to say, chat's closed anyway, just in case. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's just, it comes with the territory, but if you're trying to be helpful, in the case of this particular email, it was trying to explain to me how this game was kind of semi-trash because of certain common elements that we've seen in other games. And even an email like that, I appreciate the viewpoint and the opinion, but I do think it would have been a better idea for me to just kind of go in and make my own opinion without knowing all the stuff that's in the game that could potentially be a spoiler. So if you're listening, Mr. Email Person, it's okay, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from too. It's a little shite, that's all. Not a huge deal, but a little shite. So I have an SNES Classic. Kai from the chat pre-ordered one, but then decided that they did not want one, or rather, maybe had no need for it, and was like, Vinny, do you want my pre-order? Or do you want my SNES Classic? I said, yes, I will give you the money for it. So, it arrived, and I now have it. I haven't opened it. Well, I've opened it, but I haven't played it. Thank you, thank you very much, Kai. Hang on one second. Before we continue, I would like to just analyze the box for a second. Oh, nice music. It's really small. It's extremely small. Like, the entire box for this thing is tiny. And, I don't have an NES Classic, so I don't have that to compare it to. But it's really small, and everything's in there. 2 controllers, the cables and everything. I will do like a stream of it at some point. And we will take a look at the game selection, talk about the game selection. I'll play through some of it. I might do a run of Star Fox 2. I know that they're, like, short runs, but I don't know if I'll be able to stomach the frame rates. I guess we'll see. And, in the future, if I plan on streaming any of the games on the SNES Classic library, I'll just stream them directly from that. So, it's more of a collector's item than anything, and again, it's definitely an overpriced. If you're just looking at the games, obviously you can get these games. You know, if you know how to get these games, you can get them. And yes, they've been released on virtual consoles before. But it's kind of cool to have a little version of the system. And you do get 20 like really great games in Star Fox 2, which is like a collector's item, like, in some ways, because it's never been released. So I like the idea of the SNES Classic, and I think the games hold up better than the NES Classic, because the NES Classic had some great stuff on it, but also maybe some stuff that doesn't... Say if you showed someone the games on the NES Classic, like a kid, they might get bored if they're used to stuff from today. But I feel like the SNES games held up really, really well. And stuff like Super Metroid and Zelda, Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Secret of Mana, Mario RPG, etc., etc., etc. That's a pretty good fucking library. And there's a lot more on there, too, that I just didn't list. So, for me, my favorite system is the Super Nintendo. And I like this thing a lot, because it's that. Even if I never play it, it's that. Now, if they do an N64 Classic, and something tells me they will, if not this year, then the year after, or the year after that. Also, I apologize, my voice is... my voice is shot. I did not even go to a convention. But, if they do an N64 Classic, that's all well and good. I missed an item. Hang on. But I'm not sure if I necessarily want to fork out the money for that one. However, SNES... I mean, I like the system too much. It felt right. Eat the crystals. Eat it. Eat the crystals. Eat it. Eat those crystals. N64 Classic would be nice because N64 emulation is imperfect. Well, I mean, to each their own. Sure. It is. I agree. I would rather have a really good virtual console than have to buy separate little systems. But the novelty of the physical system, being able to bring it over someone's house, It coming with 2 controllers that are like themed on the classic controllers. I get it. You're paying for it a little, an experience and a collector's item. It's a really, really smart move, and I just bought right into that consumerism. What is an N64 Classic without Rare, though? I think the Rare stuff would still be on it. Nintendo and Microsoft don't have the worst relationship with each other, you know. That's one. And 2, Nintendo owns, Donkey Kong. So they, you know, Donkey Kong would obviously be on it. I don't know about Banjo. GoldenEye absolutely would not. Yeah, I opened the chat again. I know what the spoiler is. I got lonely. Also, can I just say how much I love the background here? This whole thing. Say what you want about this game, but every now and then, it really nails the Metroid feel. GoldenEye, you know what GoldenEye reminds me of? You know the YouTube videos that have like 8 songs on them, and they get claimed by like 35 different companies, and no one makes any money from them? That's GoldenEye reminds me of that. It just doesn't seem like anyone wants to come to an agreement with it, and they keep trying to remake it and failing. And it turns into some just, like, this holy grail. But here's the problem. If GoldenEye were to come out in the same exact form that it was released, I think so many people would be turned off. It did not age well. Perfect Dark remake on the Xbox 360 was a really, really good thing for that game because it updated the controls a little bit. It made the frame rate smoother, the models updated a little bit. That was great. That Perfect Dark needed that. GoldenEye, I think, would need a similar treatment. It would need some control updates. The hell? Oh. There's the spoiler. Is that Mecha Ridley? But Ridley the Bab. So the argument that I got was, why the fuck wouldn't they bring Ridley back and put Ridley in the game? And I hear you. It certainly feels predictable. Doesn't make it any less cool. I mean, it would have been even cooler if I didn't know this was about to happen, but I still think it's alright. Now, yeah, cool is one thing. Is it necessary? I don't know. Is it fan service? Yeah. I don't give a shit, though. I'm gonna enjoy it. Bab. The remake is all fan service? Well, I guess you don't have to consider it canon if that's the case. But I'll be damned if I didn't have fun while I played it. learned a couple new tricks, you scumbag. What are you doing, man? Oh, thanks, Bab. So I guess there you go. That's the first time the Metroid saved the baby. Sorry, it's canon now. Or the Metroid saved Samus. The baby. Oh my god, stop that. No, 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 I don't have a lot of health, you fuck! Isn't Ridley the one who called the chorizo? What the fuck? Oh shit. Well, that sucked. Alright, I guess we'll do that again then. I was hoping plot armor would kick in. I'm also spending a little bit too much of my attention on the chat. So let me just focus on this. There was someone in chat that was like, Vinny, even when I offer you an NES Classic, you don't respond. I'd like to think that that's a troll, and I'd like to think that there are... Maybe I just have too much... Maybe I just have too much hope. Maybe I have a higher opinion of humanity. That I just assume everyone realizes that being in a chat room of 4,000 to 5,000 people means that it's very hard to get noticed. Especially when I'm doing a boss fight in a video game. But, if not, I'm good. You can keep your NES Classic. Thank you for the offer, that's really nice of you. But I'm good. Apologies for the passive aggressiveness. God damn it. And as for the Ridley fight being, too fan-servicey or ruining lore, I mean, listen. Whatever. You're entitled to how you feel. I disagree. I'm having a good time. Okay. That tail is really annoying, Ridley. Christ. Maybe it's his brother Diddley. Well, that doesn't fuck with the lore at all if it's Diddley. Me up. God damn it, this fight. I turn into a Frenchman stereotype whenever I die. Okay. Alright, we're good. No, I'm no longer going to pay attention to the people arguing the logistics of how Ridley could not possibly be here and shouldn't possibly be here. And I'm just going to enjoy my video game as is, and take it, and play and try to win. Come on, 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 come on. Alright. Alright. This is much better. I know the patterns now. Somewhat. Shield helps. That's cool, Ridley. You made some shitty movies in the past 20 years. Phase 3. I don't know if that was a counter. I doubt it was. Oof. I'm gonna find out if it's a counter. No, don't do that. Oh, fuck. Oh, the shield would have been the best way to find out. Oh, no! Give me the plot armor, now! Help! Bab needs to help. Babtroid. Oof. I don't know how many times I can experiment with this. As in, like, none. Okay. I went the wrong way. I'm dead. Yeah! Yeah! Face suck. Oh, you're still alive! That was a counter. Okay, I am not comfortable being backed into a corner like this. It's kind of weird fighting Ridley in 2D out in the open like this, too. Like having room to move around and not just being stuck in like a little corridor. Shit. I've defeated God. I've defeated Jesus. And I've defeated the devil. All in the past week. But I can't defeat a fucking dragon named after a film director. Good. Part 1. This is the one right here. I have to aim the beam, otherwise it goes through his legs. Hey dude, can you stop that? I'm growing very impatient, as you can tell. I've decided to just stop moving. Footage of Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, colorized. That doesn't... I don't know, someone in chat said that you can counter this. I don't think you can. Can you? That was Japes? Oh, thanks. Cool. Oh, wow, I cannot get this fucker off of me. I like the wicked guitar solo happening during this remix. It's so excessive. There we go. Okay, I think there's a... Ah! I tried to do the counter! I didn't realize it was happening that quick. Oh, fuck off! Well, because before the cutscene, I wasn't as close to him as you would need to be for a counter. Or so I would imagine. That wasn't the one. Like, I needed to tell you that. Come on, get off the babby. Okay, alright, phase 1 I can do without losing any health if I just keep the shield on. Health has been lost. There's a cool move, bro. Yeah. Come on, Ridley. phase 2 done. I know when to grab, or rather to counter. I know when to counter. And I know that that's uncounterable. Fucking arm is blocking super missiles. No. Come on. A little bit more, and then I have to... Oh, Ridley. I'm ready for you. Bad timing. Tried to counter too quickly. I don't know if I'm gonna get another chance to do that counter. But I have the rhythm down at least. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna ride the coal train now, baby! And you just keep going until you get the counter. I see. I mean, it was a fun fight. It's a little difficult, but, I mean, that was what made it fun. I liked it. He dies eventually if you don't counter. It just takes much longer. Fair enough. I mean, I can't deny that that fight was cool. It was outside, it was in front of the ship. It was in the starting area. Like, I get the fan service argument, and I would say that the point of this game's existence is fan service, and to bring Metroid back, and to say, okay, we can still do 2D Metroid, but we can do it, we can do it with some new fancy moves in 3D graphics. And I liked it. I really did. It definitely suffered a little bit. There was some padding. There was a lot of the same enemies over and over and over again. But I would give it, you know, a pretty high score. I would probably throw it up in the 8 range, high 8. It was really well done. The Ridley fight was really fun. The previous fights were really fun. I liked that one crazy robot boss. .8, not enough Troid. But no, number scores are so... I really don't necessarily believe that a number score is a good idea, because you could feel a lot of different ways about a game, and then you could return to it in a year and be like, oh, this is better than I thought. So... But I'm really happy with it. This or AM2R? You guys want to know definitively, right? I think maybe AM2R. Slightly. But I couldn't really tell you for sure because I like both for different reasons. The reason I would say AM2R slightly is because I feel like the pacing might have been a little bit better, and the locations didn't feel as generic at times. But this has the edge in gameplay, for sure. I really like the directional shoot. I really like the countering. I like the Eon abilities. Both games are fan service for the original, and they do different things better than the other. And asking me to choose is tough, and I wouldn't even say for sure it's AM2R. I might, you know, I might feel a little different in like a year. Yeah, as I've said, I feel like AM2R does a really good job. I mean, the fan service in that game was done by a fan, and it was the perfection of the 2D Metroid kind of thing, where it took the 2D Metroid feel with the sprites from Zero Mission and kind of brought it to Metroid 2 and expanded upon it a little bit. And this game took this style of Metroid into the future a little bit. Mercury's team did a good job. I can't, you know, I wasn't really crazy about them until this game, but Nintendo and they worked together very well, and I'm really happy that the first Metroid game we've had in years was a good one, possibly a great one. $10 hours and 46 minutes. This is long, too, for a 2D Metroid game, no? Vinny, how do you feel about them doubling down in this game to the fan image of Samus being a super badass? I'd prefer this version than the other M version. I mean, the super... I don't know what that means, fan image. That's... Samus has always kind of had, in the Prime series, like, there's been flashy cutscenes. She's got a lot of moves. She's got a Chozo suit, son. Oh, I know what's gonna happen. Let me guess, an X-Parasite is gonna show up? Yeah. Nice. No, that wasn't spoiled for me. That wasn't spoiled for me at all. I like that. Hard mode has been unlocked. You can now use Metroid-related amiibo to unlock new content in the gallery. So the reason that happened is because since the Metroids were eliminated from the ecosystem, the X-Parasites evolved. That's my understanding of it. That's probably a very inelegant way of describing it. So this is like some... Metroids eat the X, with no Metroids the X thrives. Thank you. That's a much better, simpler way of explaining it. Appreciate that. The X parasites were kept in check by the Metroids. %100% to get all of them. I guess this is the visual story of what the fuck happened on the planet. Well, I'm not gonna 100% the game tonight. I think I've been playing this game for a while. I got the full experience. And, if anything, I'll just check those out. Or I'll do more item hunting on my own. Give me a second. Let's, look up complete Chozo memories for another potential sequel hook. Sent you a link on Twitter with all the stuff. Okay. Why don't we do that? Let's take a look at the stuff. It's 3 minutes. Let's take a look at the stuff. If you guys want to find this stuff on your own, or you're upset that I'm looking at it without 100%ing the game, I understand. But we're gonna do this anyway. Where's my Metroid? I'm gonna do the amiibo stuff now, since I finished the game. Like, I had the inclination to do the amiibo stuff, but I'm glad I waited. Okay, go, 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 go. Unlock. Infrared. Where is the infrared on the system? There it is. Beat the game, you can select new game. Oh, okay. So I can do new file. Wait. Do I have to start a new game for my previous game? You have to make a new copy. You have to make a copy, then make a new game. Okay. Because, yeah, I saw the new game feature. I was like, I don't want to write over my old game. I just want to see what the fusion suit looks like. Select a save file to copy this data to. Remember, kids, don't copy that floppy. Amiibo. Oh, I see now. That makes much more sense. Okay. The infrared is actually, they're just touching. And it's still not recognizing. There needs to be like an infrared docking procedure. Oh, I see. Fusion mode has been unlocked. So fusion mode, you take a fuckload of damage. I think hard mode you take double damage, fusion mode you take quadruple damage. That dude was like in the I am God position. Okay, so we know what all that looks like. Oh, there it is. Well. Looks cool. You know, I never returned up here. Never returned to this location. I also like... I like some of the details of like the Chozo statues and stuff. I know this is asking for a lot, but it kind of would have been cool to have a couple different abilities, maybe like... I don't know, some of the... Like, instead of a spazer, you have the wide beam. Oh, right, I'm almost dead, I forgot! No. A spazer and a wide beam are the same thing, but they look a little different. I'm just saying maybe, like, the graphic could have changed, and so instead of the spazer being, the triple shot going forward, it can be the triple shot on its side. I don't know. Just to give it a little bit more of a connection to fusion, just an aesthetic thing. But I think that would have probably, you know, taken... Just visual stuff would have been okay, but adding, like, ice missiles would have probably broke the entire game. So yeah, this is a worthy addition to the Metroid series, I think, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm a big Metroid fan, and I'm glad it came out good. A couple minor things, couple minor issues, but overall, I really enjoyed this very much, and I really appreciate you watching. Have you seen all the title cards? You mean the end cards? No. I have not. Alright. We're gonna take a look at this thing now, before I jump into Stardew Valley for a little bit. It's not gonna be an overly long Stardew stream. But yeah, that's Metroid. And here are some Chozo memories, which I may or may not unlock, depending on how many thousands of other games I'll be playing the next couple months. Oops. There's them Chozos. There's the X-Parasites. The Metroid was created. Ah, the Metroid was created as a direct method to combat the X-Parasites. And thus they lived in harmony. But at what cost? They could no longer eat meat after this. Soon, the Metroids started turning against their masters, evolving into fucked up looking creatures. So I guess this is their attempt to seal them away? And then perhaps this is them just like, nope, fuck it, we're out. Ooh. What is this? Interesting. Rebel faction. Is that what that looked like? Evil Chozo. Betrayal. Maybe. Oh, that's an interesting. You missed the bottom screen saying 2D/10. The fighter Chozo killed the science Chozo. Okay, this is good. Warmongers killed the inhabitants of SR-388, so the scientists got killed. Other Chozo were coming to the planet to back up this planet's Chozo and instead fuck them all up with the Samus cannon. Interesting. Wow. They might have been ashamed that they made the Metroids. So, but who created the Chozo? This is the thing I like about the lore of Metroid. I do like that this race kind of created the Metroids and ended up guiding Samus, but there's this whole like kind of, and the Prime series explored it too, but there's this whole universe out there. And as legendary as the Chozo seem, maybe they just had a huge head start on evolution and on advancing their science. The engineers. The Egyptians made the chorizos. Well, I think that's a pretty interesting angle for a sequel. I like the Renegade Chozo faction idea, and I think there's a lot to be explored there, and it could tie up some loose ends and also expand the lore a little bit. So that would be great. I think it's fucking goddamn time we get a movie after this thing, after where we're at, you know. I understand. It's like, oh man, I was just having this issue with Star Trek too. Star Trek started with the original series, then Next Gen was 100 years later, and then they had this lore that went through from Next Gen to Deep Space Nine to Voyager, and then a couple movies, and then it just stopped. So wherever they left off in the timeline, we last were there like 15 years ago. And so with Star Trek, I mean, Enterprise was a prequel. The newest movies were set, you know, in an alternate Kirk dimension. This new show is a prequel. And Metroid, it's been the same thing. Like we got to Fusion, we got that far, and then no one could figure out what to do next. So I would like to maybe stop going back and start going forward. Maybe Prime 4 could do that, or maybe the next side-scrolling Metroid game. That would be great.